A brand new interview, Kellyanne Conway suggesting the women who came forward, accusing Bill Clinton of abuse and worse in years past, and then showed up at the presidential debates. Conway argues they had a significant impact on Hillary Clinton's performance in those debates. She made those comments to me yesterday during a podcast at Trump Tower.
Hillary Clinton defended that rapist and got him a plea deal and then laughed about the polygraph test and the evidence.
To this day, you believe that had an effect on her performance.
I know it did, because they were, listen, this is somebody who's very scripted. And when you're scripted and you're running against the most unscripted X factor to ever explode onto the political scene, at least in our lifetimes, Bill, then you're going to get ham-handed. It's like not in the script. You know, a robot only has so many microchips in its database, and that one wasn't in there.
That is not all she said. There's a lot more in that interview as Conway looks at the critical moments in the final 4 months of this campaign. She says a lot. So if you'd like to hear it, go to radio.foxnews.com and hear the entire interview in this segment of Hammer Time. We start in Cleveland in mid-July, and we take all the critical moments, the debates, the convention, Mike Pence, Access Hollywood, and we go through all of it up until Election Day. I think it's a fascinating way to listen to how she framed the election in her own words now, looking back.
It has been a long time with a lot of things that have happened.
We'll push it out on my Facebook page and Twitter and all that good stuff, so we'll give you a chance to find it if you'd like.
Now, there's been some back and forth going on about a phone call that occurred on election night. Now, initially, Bill Clinton, former President Bill Clinton, suggested that Donald Trump had called him. Mr. Trump tweeted today, no, you got it wrong. He called me. Now, you have some intimate knowledge of this.
Oh, I do. Actually, it was the president-elect is correct. On Thursday, November 10th, which basically was a day after the wee hours of November 9th when he won, and that Hillary Clinton called to concede and congratulate him, I received a call from President Bill Clinton's chief of staff who asked if we could arrange a call to have President Bill Clinton congratulate the president-elect. The president-elect was in Washington, D.C. meeting with the current president on November 10th, that Thursday, as we'll all recall. And so we arranged the call. They had a great conversation. But it did go that way, and I saw in a tweet tonight that President Bill Clinton did say, Donald Trump and I agree on one thing, I did call him. It's fine. It may seem like a minor point to some, but it shows you the power of Donald Trump in his Twitter feed when he says, nope, I'm going to correct the record right here. You actually called me, which is true. I just think they're war of the word. It's not really a war of the word. It's a departure in facts when it comes to what just happened in this election. I mean, Bill Clinton won the presidency twice because he knew how to win those important blue states in the upper Midwest and other places. His wife failed to do that, and she failed to do that not because Vladimir Putin them to ignore Milwaukee, but because for some reason they took for granted Wisconsin because it had gone blue in every election since 1984. And so I think Bill Clinton, who knows politics so well, who is clearly the more gifted, masterful politician in his two-person household, he should know better than to be blaming Russian hacking or Jim Comey or Bernie Sanders. How dare he run in a primary? I mean, we're not enough of these excuses.
He went even further than Jim Comey. He did. He blamed the, what do you call it, the fake email scandal. Then he blamed Jim Comey. And this same comment where he said that Donald Trump had called him, in that same comment he said Donald Trump knows how to get angry white males to vote for him.
Well, that's not the only group that, first of all, it's an insult, and I think Bill Clinton sounds like, in that case, a Trump voter these days. He seems pretty angry, white male, and that's too bad.
We will hunt down terrorists who threaten our country wherever they are. That means I will not hesitate to take action against ISIL in Syria as well as Iraq. This is a core principle of my presidency. If you threaten America, you will find no safe haven. Second, we will increase our support to forces fighting these terrorists on the ground. In June, I deployed several hundred American service members to Iraq to assess how we can best support Iraqi security forces. Now that those teams have completed their work and Iraq has formed a government, we will send an additional 475 service members to Iraq. As I've said before, these American forces will not have a combat mission. We will not get dragged into another ground war in Iraq. But they are needed to support Iraqi and Kurdish forces with training, intelligence, and equipment. Now, it will take time to eradicate a cancer like ISIL. And any time we take military action, there are risks involved, especially to the servicemen and women who carry out these missions. But I want the American people to understand how this effort will be different from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. It will not involve American combat troops fighting on foreign soil. This counterterrorism campaign will be waged through a steady, relentless effort to take out ISIL wherever they exist using our air power and our support for partners' forces on the ground. This strategy of taking out terrorists who threaten us while supporting partners on the front lines is one that we have successfully pursued in Yemen and Somalia for years, and it is consistent with the approach I outlined earlier this year, to use force against anyone who threatens America's core interests, but to mobilize partners wherever possible to address broader challenges to international order. May God bless our troops, and may God bless the United States of America.
You were watching that alongside me, and we both slapped the table at the same time.
Right, we all did when she said unless.
The bitter end, unless.
Chris, let's just recap what happened there. Chris asked Kellyanne Conway, the campaign manager, are you with him till the bitter end? And her response was?
I am with him until the bitter end, unless.
And then she let it.
No, she did. She just let that out there. I mean, it only confirms a lot of chatter. That, look, this.
Unless another tape comes out,
that's what it comes
about grabbing women by the you-know-what. I mean, they don't know what else is out there. This is the reality that they're all living with. I mean, we don't need to tiptoe around this.
She is.
They don't know.
That is an unless. I mean, literally, you can actually see the dots like
she's on
the thought bubble.
Kellyanne.
Back on.
You want to come back on?
Hey. Yes.
Okay, we're back.
Kellyanne,
Brian, we're back.
It's Rachel Maddow in New York. It's nice to see you again. I have a follow-up question for you because we're confused. Chris was asking you if you're with the campaign till the bitter end, and you said yes. You said you seemed to indicate that you were with the campaign, and then you said dramatically, unless, and then you let that tail off, and we don't know what the unless means.
I know. I didn't mean to alert the breaking news again, Rachel. The unless is very simple. It's unless someone in my household needs me or unless something changes in my own life.
Okay. So what we were speculating was that unless something else comes out about your candidate that you can't foresee now, unless there's, some additional tape or some additional evidence or something that you don't know about him now, that's not what you meant?
That is not what I meant. And I have to say, I think that whoever was breaking the news today on MSNBC that I was resigning while I was getting on the plane with Mr. and Mrs. Trump to come here really should do a better job checking the facts.
That's always a good thing to do.
Kellyanne, it's Nicole. First off, congratulations. I know you guys were prepping before all hell broke loose on Friday, and obviously a lot of the prep took, so congratulations on that. I understand you had a very large part in that. But I also understand that it is a known unknown what else is out there about Mr. Trump, and that is of grave concern to him and the family and all of you. Is there anything you can say about lessons learned from the last 72 hours, or do you know of anything that's coming?
Nicole, I don't know anything that's coming, but I also don't want to engage in hypotheticals and speculation. I just watched 90 minutes of real debate, and it's obvious to me that Mr. Trump dominated the debate. It's not spin. I mean, she was on defense. She looked, it's almost an indignity to Hillary Clinton to have to be sharing the stage with Donald Trump, and it showed that. That was a great format for him. I had said it earlier in the week and was attacked for saying it was a great format for him, but clearly it was. He gets oxygen from the people. He's out there every day talking to people at rallies in smaller settings, and she often is not. And I think that you saw that pay off tonight. The other thing that happened tonight, and I think it was very similar to NBC's Commander-in-Chief Town Hall Forum last month, Nicole, which is that you saw Donald Trump make the case, and Hillary Clinton need to defend against the fact that she represents the status quo, she represents the past, she represents politics, she represents Washington, she represents a flotilla of votes and processes that Americans just don't want to countenance. You see that, I'm always quoting the 70% in the new Fox News poll, 76% of Americans say that we want to take the country in a new and different direction. And she has to somehow, to use a word, pivot away from that in a manner that convinces people that they do want more of the same. And I think tonight it was wasn't good. Tonight she looked like somebody who had been in politics for decades and had not had the deliverable and the product that mattered to people.
I get one last question now. There will be a third debate. There will be a rubber match. There will be a rubber match.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Back to you
See
guys.
You there.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming back, Kellyanne. That was a good sport of you to do that. Thank you.
Wow, I feel like we're all going to go home to our families tonight and hear from Kellyanne. Can I just...
Can I just say, she's so good. She's one of the best in the business. And
Dan Rather told me, after she was on my show for the first time, Dan Rather came into the studio right after her and said she could talk the legs off a table. It's true. She's good at what she does. She's got a challenging